if you're tuning in, chances are you're somewhere in the middle of figuring this leadership thing out. Maybe you're a few months into a new role. Maybe you've been leading a team for a year or two. Either way, you're doing the work, you're putting in the hours, you care. But here's what no one told you when they handed you that title. Your success as a leader is no longer just about what you know or what you can do. It's about who's in your corner. It's about the relationships around you and the health of those relationships. Most new managers are running hard, but running in isolation, and it's costing them more than they realize. In fact, it's probably costing you more than you realize. I've spent over 20 years in corporate leadership, and I've made the mistake of walking into a new role without doing this work. I've also done it right. I know what the difference feels like, and today I'm going to show it to you. Today's episode is built around a framework I call Evolve Your Ecosystem. It's a tool I've developed and used with leaders across industries, and it's going to change how you see every single relationship in your professional world. Here's where we're going today. 3 things. 1, why skipping the listening tour cost me and how doing it right changed everything. And of course, I'll share what a listening tour is. 2, how to map your ecosystem so you can see clearly where you actually stand. And 3, how to evolve those relationships one intentional move at a time. So let's get into it. Let's start with what an ecosystem is. Before we go anywhere, I want to make sure we're working from the same definition. Because when I say ecosystem, I don't want you to think network or contacts or people I've connected with on LinkedIn. That's not what I mean. Think about an ecosystem in nature, a forest, a coral reef, a wetland. In a healthy ecosystem, everything is connected. The trees, the soil, the water, the animals, each element depends on the others. When one part is struggling, the whole system feels it. When one part is thriving, it supports everything around it. That's what your professional world looks like. You are at the center of a living ecosystem. And that system includes the people around you, above you, beside you, below you, and outside your immediate organization. Your direct reports, your peers, your manager, your manager's peers, people in other departments whose work touches you, mentors, outside contacts. Each one is part of your ecosystem. And just like in nature, the health of your ecosystem determines what's possible. A thriving ecosystem gives you resources, support, intelligence, and resilience. A depleted one leaves you exposed. The health of your ecosystem determines what's possible as a leader. This is the core idea today. Everything else in this episode builds on it. Now, not all relationships in your ecosystem are the same, and that's okay. I want to give you a simple framework for thinking about the depth of a relationship. 3 levels. Level 1 is red. Level 1 is red. A transactional relationship, business only. You interact when you have to. You get the thing done and you move on. There's nothing inherently wrong with transactional relationships. But if most of your ecosystem is red, you're just one crisis away from having no one in your corner. Level 2 is amber, an operationally mature relationship. You know each other beyond the work. You know they have kids. You grab coffee every now and then. There's genuine respect there. These are solid. They're working relationships in the best sense. Level 3 is green, a fluid relationship. These are the people you can call with the real stuff. The ones who will tell you the truth. Your mentors, your close peers, your trusted direct reports. You don't just talk work, you talk long-term plans, real challenges, real goals. These are your inner circle. So red, amber, green. And as a new leader, if you're being honest with yourself, most of your relationships are probably red. That's not a character flaw. It's just the reality of not having been intentional about it. No one teaches you this. No one tells you that building your ecosystem is part of the job. But it is. It absolutely is. So let's go back to the listening tour and why it cost me and how it changed everything. I want to tell you about 2 leadership roles, because the difference between them changed the way I lead, and it's something I wish someone had told me earlier. The first one was at Allstate Insurance. I came in as the president of Affinity Solutions. I had a mandate. I had energy. I had a plan, and I charged forward. I did not do a listening tour. I did not sit down with all of the people around me. In some cases, my team, some cases, my peers, my manager, the folks in the regions who I was going to need. And I didn't ask them what they saw. I just moved and I paid for it. There was resistance I didn't anticipate, dynamics I didn't understand, people who had institutional knowledge I never tapped. I was working hard, but I was navigating blind because I hadn't invested in the relationships that would have given me the map. Then I got to Legal Shield. I joined in 2014 as president of Legal Shield Business Solutions, and I did it differently. Before I announced anything, before I set a strategy, before I moved a single chess piece, I went to people first. I went on what I call a listening tour. I sat down with my direct reports. I met with my manager and skip level. I connected with peers inside and outside my division. I talked to people in the sales force who were in the field every day doing the work. I reached out to outside contacts who knew the landscape. And I brought the same 3 questions into every room. What's working? What's not? Where do you see the biggest opportunity? I listened more than I talked. I took it all in. I synthesized what I was hearing across all those conversations. And then, and this is the step that most leaders skip, I went back to those same people and shared what I found. Here's what I heard. Here's what I'm seeing. And here's the plan. The difference was night and day. By the time I was ready to move at Legal Shield, I didn't have to sell people on the direction. They had helped shape it. The people who gave me input were now invested in its success. I hadn't just gathered information, I had built a coalition. And in year 2 and year 3 there, we drove double-digit growth, which ultimately contributed to a private equity sale of Legal Shield at $1.2 billion, nearly double the purchase price. So let's break down what is a listening tour. Because listening tour might sound like corporate speak, and I want you to know exactly what I mean. A listening tour is the intentional act of going out early in your leadership role and having real conversations with the key stakeholders in and around your business. Before you have a plan, before you have all the answers, you go to the people first. As a first-time manager, that means your direct reports, the people on your team, your peers, the other managers at your level, people in other departments whose work connects to yours, your own manager, maybe their peers, and people outside your organization who know your industry or your customers. You show up with curiosity, not conclusions. You ask open questions. You listen more than you talk. You take notes. Because what you hear in those conversations is going to tell you things about your organization, your team, and your challenges that no org chart or briefing document ever will. A listening tour is not a fact-finding mission. It's a relationship-building strategy. The people you engage on the front end become your advocates on the back end. Here's the insight I want you to take from this. Most new managers walk in with something to prove. You want to show you belong. You want people to know you are capable. So you go straight to strategy mode, announcing priorities, making changes, moving fast. And then you wonder why people aren't following. It's because trust wasn't established first. Every conversation in those first 90 days is either building a relationship or leaving one on the table. The listening tour flips that. You come in not with answers, but with questions. And that posture alone, I'm here to learn from you, starts moving relationships from red to amber before your strategy is ever written. Don't come in with the plan. Come in with questions. The coalition is built in the listening, not the announcing. Now, here's a few things I want you to do with this. First, if you're new to your role or new to a team, map your listening tour right now. List 8 to 10 people across your ecosystem, your team, your manager, peers inside and outside your department, a mentor, an outside contact, and schedule a 30-minute conversation with each of them. Secondly, bring 3 questions to every conversation. What's working? What's not? Where do you see the biggest opportunity? Then listen more than you talk. Third, close the loop. Once you synthesize what you heard, go back to those same people and share what you found and what you're planning. That single step is where the buy-in is born. Now let's talk about mapping your ecosystem and seeing what you've built so far. You know, when I moved into consulting and started working inside of dozens of different organizations, I noticed the same pattern showing up everywhere. Good people, smart leaders, capable managers. But when I asked them to describe their key relationships, the ones that matter most to their success, I got the same surface level answers a lot. Things are fine. We're good. But fine isn't the same as fluid, and good isn't the same as green. So I started doing something. I'd put a leader in the room, hand them a grid, and ask them to map every key relationship in their professional world. Not just their team, their whole ecosystem. Their mentors and sponsors, their manager and skip level, their peers inside and outside the department, their direct reports, their mentees, their outside contacts. And then I'd ask them to rate each one, red, amber, or green. And be honest, every single time, leaders were surprised. They thought they had more green than they really did. Some of them almost had none. The ecosystem map doesn't lie. And what it usually reveals is this. Most managers have a lot of red, a little amber, and almost no green, especially early in a leadership role. And here's what I want you to hear. That is not a character flaw. It's just the reality of not having been intentional. But here's why it matters. You need green relationships at every level of that map. You need a mentor who can tell you what you can't see. A peer you can be honest with. Direct reports who trust you enough to tell you the truth. Without those, you're navigating blind. No one pulling for you. No one covering your blind spots. No one telling you the real story. You cannot lead what you cannot see. Most leaders have never actually looked at their ecosystem at all. They've never rated their relationships honestly. They've never asked themselves, if I needed someone to go to bat for me tomorrow, who would do it? And why? The goal isn't to turn every relationship green overnight. The goal is to be intentional, to know where you are, to have a plan to move relationships forward, red to amber, amber to green, one at a time. You cannot lead what you cannot see. The ecosystem map makes the invisible visible, and visible is where change begins. So here's what I'd like you to do. Here's your work on this section. Draw your ecosystem map this week. Place your top 3 people in each category, mentors and sponsors, your manager and skip level, your manager's peers, your management team peers, out of department peers, direct reports, mentees, outside contacts. Rate each relationship, red, amber, or green. Be honest with yourself. Then count your totals. What percentage of your ecosystem is red? That number will tell you something important about how you're leading right now and where the work is. My last point, let's now evolve this ecosystem. Let me take you inside another real situation. When I assumed the head of HR service delivery in North America at JP Morgan Chase, one of the first things I did was take inventory. Not of the work, of the relationships. I created a list of every key stakeholder my organization touched, business leaders across the firm who depended on what we delivered. And then I launched a 30-day interview process. I sat down with each of them one by one and asked, what do you need from us? How are we doing? How do we interact with you? And how could that be better? What came back was pretty sobering. 2 themes showed up over and over. We weren't meeting their needs in certain areas, and we weren't communicating well enough. And here's the part that really got to me. Most of the communication failures were creating the perception that we weren't performing, even when we were delivering. The relationships were too thin, too transactional, red. There was no room for context, no room for dialogue, no trust built up to fill the gaps when things got complicated. So we built it. We went back out to every group with what I called a business tour. Here's what we delivered to you over the last 12 months. Here's what we're driving for the next 12 months. Then we established quarterly sessions, open dialogue, regular updates, business leaders invited to the conversations. The results were significant. Those same stakeholders who had been frustrated, they became advocates inside their own businesses on our behalf. We hadn't changed the work overnight. We changed the relationships, and that changed everything. Here's what I want you to take away from that story. Most new managers think about relationships only within their immediate team. But your ecosystem is bigger than that. It goes above you, beside you, outside your department, beyond the walls of your organization. And every one of those relationships sits somewhere on that red, amber, green spectrum. The ones that are purely transactional, red, leave you exposed. When something goes wrong, there's no goodwill to draw on. When communication breaks down, there's no trust to fill the gap. Those stakeholders at JP Morgan Chase weren't frustrated because we were failing. In many cases, we were delivering. They were frustrated because the relationship was too thin to carry the weight of the work. Think about that. You can be doing the work, actually doing a good job, and still lose the room because the relationship isn't strong enough to hold the perception in place when things get hard. That's why we evolve the ecosystem intentionally. You invest before you need it. You build trust before there's a crisis. You create advocates before you need someone to. Let's do it again. That's why we evolve the ecosystem intentionally. You invest before you need it. You build trust before there's a crisis. You create advocates before you need someone to speak up for you. And when you do that, those relationships compound. They stack. The investment you make today pays dividends months and years down the road. And here's the frame I want to leave with you. Leadership is stewardship. You hold the chair for a season. You don't own it. And while you're in it, your job is to lift people up. Flip the org chart in your mind. You're not on top. You're at the bottom, holding people up. When you leave from that posture, the relationships change. And when the relationships change, the results follow. Take this way. A thin relationship cannot carry the weight of the work. Invest before you need it. Build trust before the crises. Create advocates before you need them to speak up. Action I want you to take. 3 moves for this week. 1, create a stakeholder inventory. Go beyond your direct reports. List the key people across your full ecosystem who depend on your work or whose support you need. How many of those relationships are red? 2, pick one red relationship that matters most to your success right now. Schedule a 30-minute conversation. No agenda other than to listen. What do they need? How are you doing? How could you interact better? 3, close the loop once a quarter. Go back to your key stakeholders. Share what you've delivered and share what's coming. That one habit, done consistently, turns passive relationships into active advocates. All right, let's bring this home. We've covered 3 things. First, why the listening tour matters. Don't come in with the plan, come in with questions. The coalition is built in the listening. Second, how to map your ecosystem. You can't lead what you cannot see. Red, amber, green. Know where you stand. And third, how to evolve it. Invest intentionally. Build a relationship before you need it. One move at a time, it compounds. The leader you wish you always had didn't just do great work. They built great relationships. And that's the leader you're becoming. I'm James Rosseau, and this is the Leader I Needed podcast, where you become the leader you wish you always had. Till next time, invest in your people. The growth will follow.